According to this, he joined in March. Late March.
So a couple months ago.
A couple months ago.
Not too long ago.
Where are we going to play?
That's a good question. Well, you've got Border and Bank that are auto-removed, Coastline Villa, Cafe, Clubhouse, and we started the day on Consulate. And Michael, we're going to end the day, by Jove,
on Consulate. That's cool. So, good map, well balanced. A lot of people like it. Though it is starting to fall out of favor, I have heard some rumblings of it's been just fully figured out. That's usually the way that Pro League maps go. That's how they die, is teams fully flesh them out, fully understand them, and go, we cannot elaborate on this anymore.
Additionally, with Console, it's a very narrow map. But that's all for when we get into the actual matchup. Surprisingly, not as close as you thought it could be. 62% say Ninjas in Pyjamas, 26% say Black Dragons, and 12% of you think it's going to be a draw. And I think that Michael predicted a draw in the break between the matches.
I was saying that it could be a draw. I'd say this is our most likely draw of the day, but it really is going to come down to if both teams show up. Like, I mean, these are... Okay, both NIP and BD are the type of team where some days they just aren't there, and you're going like, where's NIP or where's BD? And you have to kind of if they're both here, this could be a very good, very close match. But we're just gonna load into it. We're going. It's Consulate, ladies and gentlemen, and we will have Ninjas in Pyjamas starting on defense, Black Dragons on attack. So yeah, I mean, it's a strong potential for a draw. Definitely, strong potential.
Do you feel it?
Do feel it.
Do you feel it in your bones?
Maybe not that much. Nope. I mean, heck, man, today has been absolutely crazy, and I honestly don't want to make any hard predictions. Like, Ints 7-0 Immortals. That's... whew.
Unexpected, to say the least.
Unexpected is a word. Embarrassing. Another one.
They were embarrassed, I think is a good way of putting it. So...
Also, good job to Ints. Gotta say, again, very impressive. Anyway...
Latin America hates Thatcher today. 3 matches with Thatcher being banned of the 4.
That's true. Very odd to see, but Nomad, not a surprising one at all. I mean, Thatcher's not a crazy ban by any stretch. It's definitely a viable, smart ban. It's just you don't usually see him this often banned.
So frequently, I think is the way of putting it.
Yes.
Valkyrie is a sensible ban on Consulate, given the run-out potential. And since there's no Nomad, well... You ban a Nomad, and what can you do? You can run out with greater impunity. With a Valkyrie gone, your information to run out on not going to be anywhere near as prevalent.
They just kind of balance themselves out. Like,
yep. That's exactly what they did, Michael.
BD banned the Nomad to allow for runouts, and then banned the Valkyrie to hurt the runouts. It's kind of weird. I mean, they obviously they just don't want to play against those operators. Like, I get it. On Consulate especially, Nomad is... going to give you more, or banning Nomad's going to give you more freedom as a defensive team, and the banning the Valkyrie is like, if you're not trying to incorporate the Valkyrie into your defense, then heck yes, get rid of it. Or if you're just straight up afraid of theirs, same story. Get rid of the Valkyrie. So it's gone. Echo is if I'm not mistaken, it's been banned every match today. So
that is just typical Latin America, though, from what we've seen.
This is the first time we will have no Mira banned today. So cool, neat. Fun. I don't think she'll be played in excessive amount, though. Maybe a little bit here and there. You know, like if you're basement roaming and you want to roam... holding the basement roaming main floor, bring a Mira. Or holding the top floor, you want to hold the admin office a little bit longer, bring a Mira. But not the case in the first round. At least that.
I mean, like we've said time and time again, when Mira doesn't get banned, it doesn't necessarily mean that teams will play her, because a lot of teams practice without her because they're assuming that she's going to be banned, yada, yada, yada. So...
yeah.
Who knows? So, with Ninjas in Pyjamas starting on attack, even though the thing at the top is backwards, but that's okay. Black Dragons is actually starting on attack, not Ninjas in Pyjamas. Black Dragons are the team in blue. Ninjas in Pyjamas are on
You're right.
defense. So
it's the wrong way around.
Pay no attention. Pay no attention for the time being. On defense, up top, on the console office, the very highest site. The only site that's actually on the second floor, so they've brought an interesting amount of tools. Now, Mozzie has actually been played quite a bit so far today. I think more than every other region, and...
Oops.
That's a whoopsie, for sure.
That's a big whoopsie.
I don't know if he meant to toss it through the window or not, but you just kind of got to soldier on as if that didn't happen. And Live is dead, meaning that one of your main points of entry through the admin side with an Ashe not going to be happening for this round.
All right, so the overlay is fixed, so that's good. But also, Black Dragons having lost a player for free, not good. Well, if you're Black Dragons. They have adjusted their strategy, it looks like. After that, wait, so they killed one of their players, then they decided to rotate because of it. That's a little bit weird. But that's what they're doing. They have completely fallen off the admin tank, and they are going for a CEO push now. Pino is all alone on the east side of the map. He's just waiting.
He's got Psycho there on the Mozzie drone, just also waiting. But there's nobody over on Visa's side. So Black Dragons on the roof, just waiting. But who knows how much of their strategy is gone with Live not being there, you know? I mean, you got Hugzord and PZD, who can both act as your main entry without an Ashe on the board. We've seen both Twitch and Zofia be two of the main entries for teams that don't run Ashe.
Yeah, well, I mean, having an Ashe and Zofia also is worth noting. You don't often see both of them brought. Sometimes you don't see either of them brought these days, but yeah, definitely heavy investment there in that soft destruction. They expected the Maestro, and they wanted to be sure they were going to be able to get it, that's for sure. It's also useful in other situations, especially on Consulate. Lots of vertical destruction you can do with that. The Yellow Stairs take not working out great for Black Dragon so far. Ninjas in Pyjamas shutting that down from Piano. Julio, great position here, and Pino there to cover him.
And being assisted by one of the drones that Mozzie was able to capture as well. As Panico is worried about a push from Bench or Zulu inside, he dodges a C4 that goes sailing out the window, and off rappel Panico will go. Instead, he'll enter down Yellow Stairs, and I don't know if he's aware that the drone is not his own. Waiting to see if there's a confrontation, and what appears to be Julio playing the mute inside a Piano. Panico playing the angle will have the better of him. But traded out immediately by Pino, who will now head for Zulu. And there'll be another body there as well. Oh, it's two for Pino. Expecting a push from the back. But the only person left for Black Dragons is Hugzord. And he was on rappel. He's going to see one, and Pino will peek out a second time. The first time not doing too much. But that's 3 kills to wrap up the round for the Jaeger and Ninjas in Pyjamas, taking round number 1.
Impressive round there from Nip, but a curious one, I think, is the story for Black Dragons, because why the nade and then the rotate? It was starting off as an admin take. Maybe the initial plan was to just fake out admin and then rotate later. Maybe that's the whole idea for BD, but I question their decision-making and their execution of that plan, because after they lost the player, rotated off of admin, they didn't make any kind of fake out that they were going to continue to hit admin, so it was an easy rotation for Nip. It also meant that the players who were attempting to contest admin were allowed to rotate down to Visa, and that's why Pino was in a position to kill players over by Z or Zulu or Bench. So good job to Pino, great rotation, but I mean, Black Dragons left themselves wide open to that. They did not cut off the rotation on their own rotation to the other side of the building. A little bit confusing there, I suppose, but at the same time, it's basic stuff. When you try to take in from admin office, you want to make it some kind of distraction to make that an obvious presence. You want to bait some of the Nip defenders into trying to hold admin office, which they were doing, Pino was doing. Then you want to cut them off as they attempt to rotate to hold admin, or rather, CEO and Yellow. Another thing, and this is just a little bit of a nitpick, well, I know it's not. The Yellow Stairs take from BD was like, it was just, hey, let's push up Yellow Stairs. That's not a take. That's not an execution onto Yellow, because Yellow is a notoriously hard position to take. You have to use some tools to deal with that hold from Nip, but they didn't. Just a weird overall round from BD.
Hesitation from Black Dragons, as you saw an attempted spawn peek there from Psycho as well. Just to add to what you were saying about a weird round from Black Dragons, a bit of aggressiveness from Ninjas in Pyjamas, and already Live has outlived his previous time in round number 1. As he will join the rest of his team, and it appears to head on over towards admin as he had spawned over by the garage. Once again, you've got a lot of second floor presence here from Ninjas in Pyjamas, and they're going to continue to hold that as it is a lobby defense. So when you're on the main floor, you got to suspect there will be bodies holding that map control above, just waiting for somebody to push on in. Now, one of the things that Mozzie has at his disposal is that secondary super shorty shotgun, and Mozzie is able to open up an opportunity for him, or a kill hole for him to get an opportunity to look down below. Kamikaze is being continuously harassed as this drone from Black Dragons is having a great degree of trouble getting on in. Kamikaze will go prone under the window, shotgun barrel out, and that's an insta-kill should somebody from Black Dragons attempt to challenge this. I think very wisely Kamikaze has fallen off, though. And Live will now go to the upside down rappel to try and figure out if he can see exactly where the mute is. Kamikaze isn't really giving him all that much. He's still playing very carefully around that window, and he manages to do all but 1 HP to Live. Talk about getting away by the skin of your teeth. But the mute is gone. Down goes a C4 as well. And while Pino takes out Panico, they'll trade operators, both SAS operators. You have Live still very far below. Hugzord attempting to get that plant down, and there's Psycho to gun down Live.
Pino is in a great C4 denial position. He can just stop the plant dead in its tracks from below, and that's why he's here. The drop down, it's a long angle C4, but it's definitely something that you can do. C4 on the balcony will be successful in downing PZD, but he is a Sophia. Can he withstand? No. It's going to be Hugzord and GDN, the last two attackers. But GDN from Visa is going to get one before finally being shut down by Muzi. Leaving just Hugzord on the front door. Not exactly a very strong position to find himself in. Has diffuser, so there's still definitely some clutch potential here. 30 seconds is enough time, but he's dealing with so many angles, and it's going to be Psycho, an aggressive one from Piano. Actually a vault even there to finish off Black Dragon. So 2 rounds in a row from Ninjas in Pyjamas, and when we were talking about, actually, it was on Consulate earlier when T1 was playing, very beginning of the day. Like you said, we started on Consulate, we'll end on Consulate. And the really big point of focus was T1's lack of any kind of attack strategy. We're seeing the same thing here from Black Dragons, because it seems like they have a better idea of what they're trying to accomplish, what they want to do, but the execution leaves something to be desired. Take admin office. Pressure meeting. Once you have taken control of meeting and admin office, then you could start your attacking through the main lobby. But Black Dragons seem to be just all over the place. They're skipping steps. They have someone on balcony, and that player on balcony, yeah, he got a kill, but then following that, he falls off. Why? Because he's on low HP, so they put someone else on balcony. But what is not happening there? What's the part of the equation that doesn't exist? It's the admin office pressure into meeting. There's no crossfire going on there. It's just a straight challenge on the balcony. And you can do that, but it's very hard. And you lose a lot of control. Black Dragons don't need to skip these steps. They just need to muscle down or muscle up and just go for it. But they are skipping them. Ninjas in Pyjamas are taking the extra freedom that gives them on rotation, and they're like, hey, thank you. We'll take that. Yeah, we're much more comfortable now.
It's very similar to what we saw in the FaZe Red Devils match, is that there are only 3 kills combined for Black Dragons over those 2 rounds.
Yeah.
It tighten that up at some point. I think at this point in the previous matchup, Red Devils had 2.
Yeah, so it's similar, but it's certainly not the end. I mean, we always talk about it. Oh, wow, is this this is interesting. Oh, wow, it almost cost GDN his life. The mirror window actually working out here for Muzi. How is he not dead?
How is nobody capitalized, Michael?
And it's a down there as well. Hugzord gets 2 from Yellow Stairs. It seems to be a rush strategy here from Black Dragons. Panico also eliminates Pino. So it's full control of Yellow and Garage. Cycle will take down PCD. Punishment here from Ninjas in Pyjamas, and the plant has been denied as Hugzord has had to come off to cover himself. Though Kamikaze is going to eliminate Panico. It's just a 2 versus 2 now. The planter is in sight but cannot plant because no one can cover. The retake is being allowed for Ninjas in Pyjamas due to poor time management here from Black Dragons. They have the control, they need to use it.
If there's any 2 people I want to be left alive in this situation, it's Psycho and Kamikaze, but Hugzord's position is not known to either. If he falls off here, he'll be spotted, putting the Maverick of GDN in a 1v2. Guarding that diffuser, he'll watch over it like a hawk. He sees the Jaeger and will tussle before going back in, but he'll be pushed off by the smoke. The telltale signs as Kamikaze looks to be able to do it. You've got the Maverick to have to come on in, but this will be very easy. A ninja defuse for Kamikaze, and it falls just short for Black Dragons. As you gotta love it. The Jaeger's play of Psycho on the stairs scares the Maverick and doesn't allow him to go on in, as it's a 2v1 that allows you to get the disable off. And Nip, despite that rush strategy that seemed to work out quite well for Black Dragons, it doesn't really go much farther than just getting that diffuser down.
That was the most off-tempo round we've had all night. That was very weird. The initial entry into Yellow Stairs, okay, they did get the kill eventually, on the player inside a garage, but it took them a solid 10 seconds, and he was able to punish them. The Ash was downed by the shotgun blast there. And yeah, okay, there were 2 entry kills from the IQ of Hugzord. He managed to do a lot of damage from Yellow Stairs, and he even got in to start the plant. But despite all the control that Black Dragons had, and they had so much, they couldn't get the plant down. Ninjas and Pyjamas punished Black Dragons. And, you know, it's funny because Black Dragons didn't know this, but they had full site control and no reason to worry about a denial of the plant for a solid 30 seconds. NiP had to rotate back. They had roamers. It was a far out roam strategy from NiP, and a good call for Black Dragons to go for a rush in that situation. But they didn't use their advantage, and by they, I mean BD. They didn't use their advantage to the fullest, and because of that, couldn't get the plant down fast enough. Because of that, allowed, like you said, 2 of the best players to have in that situation alive late in the round for a clutch, Kamikaze and Psycho. They allowed those 2 players to retake and win the round out. I mean, at the end of that round, it was gas canister on Yellow Stairs, right? And then it was also, yeah, okay, he was flashed, but it was the easiest pre-fire of that Jaeger's career. It was, you just spray, man. You don't need to stress it. You just spray. Your teammate is sticking the diffuse disable, and all you need to do is hold one angle to keep that around. So I don't know. It's just curious round for sure.
But do you think this is going to slow Black Dragons down now, though, if they want to push in? Because they've gone for broke a couple times and it has never really paid off for them. I think there's going to be greater hesitation here?
Well, after that pick from PZD, you can bet your bottom dollar that there's going to be a little bit of, maybe hesitation's a word, trepidation another, to describe what I expect out of BD at this point. We've seen a lot of teams slow down today when they start to get into these kind of... What is that? Panico going to vault in through the balcony, and now he has control of meeting. I guess I was wrong. A great assertive play there from the Capital, using the information he had to his advantage.
I think that was more Psycho missing, if you really
yes.
look at it. What a shot from Pino through the wall,
beautiful.
Taking out the remainder of the Capital. Your own set of smokes go down, and with it, you've lost so much time. 1 minute and 40 seconds, just over the halfway mark here.
And, you know, effectively, Pino has retaken control of Meeting Hall, which is going to help them in defense here on the top floor. This is a middle floor defense, it seems. Or is it?
It's a Teller's Archives defense.
Teller's Archives, pardon me, so I didn't even catch it at the beginning.
Because of this, they're going to need to take control above once again. And Black Dragons are just sitting at this Visa door, posted up. GDN is on the longest flank watch possibly of his life, with Live not too far off. That'll leave only really Hugzord in a position to possibly work towards the site. But Live's patience above. He'll find Muzi looking for another. Hugzord is not too far off inside a printer, and Live is in. They have the drop hatch available to them, and they could just push. Kamikaze's got a shotgun barrel that's absolutely lethal at such a close range. 30 seconds left. And we need to see if the butt can possibly tear through. Oh, Kamikaze doesn't see it, though. He'll have to scamper off, but he catches the Hibana on the way. Next up is the IQ, taken out by a C4 of Julio, and Kamikaze can move around. They'll find Live. 10 seconds left. Live will need to be vulnerable for 7 seconds, planting on top of the desk. Remainder of NiP will have to get on in, but Pino's position on the stairs was never found out. And I don't know what it is, Michael, but we are now up 4-0 for NiP. Man, oh man, these are very decisive sides so far today.
Yeah, it's been a weird day, that's for sure. That round, though, for NiP, well done. Black Dragons almost made it work. I like Panico's vault there on the balcony. Well, I mean, I don't know if I like it. We should have been easily punished. It should have been shut down straight up. But it worked. It worked. So you could give him some credit for that. However, it worked. It was fleeting. The success that Black Dragons had in that round was very limited. And I do think, again, this has been a kind of a reoccurring theme with BD and a lot of teams today, actually, where there hasn't been a lot of teamwork, a lot of refrag, you know, a lot of let's work together to take a certain location and then move from there. Panico just kind of vaulted in through the balcony, got control of meeting, and then was like, I have my position. He died, but he could have died to anything else, too. He got lit up by his opponent, so no matter what, there's no one else there to help him. There's nothing else going into double down on meeting hall control. And because of that, it allowed his opponent Pino to do a lot of work from the Visa stairs after. He was able to deny the plant later in the round because so little attentiveness was paid to meeting hall and Visa stairs. It just... Black Dragons, I think, a little bit distracted is a word I could say. I could use to describe how they've been playing today. So far, at least. I don't know if it really fully kind of paints the picture, because it's a very complicated thing, the way that we've been seeing BD play.
We see a lobby defense here, so once again, Black Dragons will try to head to that second floor. They've had some troubles in the past, even though GDN spies the pest and knows that it can get shot out as it's just going to sit on the door frame.
Quick note, the Amazi and a mute, that's such a pain for droners.
Trying to deal with that, and there's a Thatcher ban. Keep that in mind too, right?
Yeah, and
Ninjas in Pyjamas who banned Thatcher, likely for that specific reason.
Yeah, because it really does add up.
You know, Twitch either being brought, which could have been used here. Black Dragons did have Twitch for one round, and then you also have a pulse on the board for Ninjas in Pyjamas, which means that that's another gadget that you're not going to have to worry about getting disabled with an EMP. So Nipper really taking advantage of this ban and utilizing it to the best of their ability. And because of this, Black Dragons have struggled to be able to move after they've gotten an opening pick or two. They're going to get an opening pick here on Pino. You've got Panico upside down. This is a very difficult shot for a defender to make. On Spiral Stairs, they see another. It's the Legion. And just crossing on over. Panico will send out an asphyxiating bolt and look to try to catch the Legion, but right into the waiting arms of PZD. And Black Dragons have managed to take out 2 members of NIP in the first half of the round. This is what they're going to need to continue to roll on. But keep in mind that as long as Kamikaze and Psycho are still alive, you got a fighting chance. Well, Psycho's dead, but you still got Kamikaze, so you're halfway there.
Here we go, Black Dragons. You love to see this great execution of these tools. Kamikaze is going to punish them, though, as he takes down Panico, so no more Capital utility. He used one of his firebolts, but he still had plenty left in his pocket. Now, it's gone. Kamikaze with a C4 is going to be able to play downstairs to deny the plant from the main lobby. Through that drop down, Muzi up here in the connector will eliminate live. He wasn't droned out. And why? Mute jammers and pests. So that combination really working out well for Ninjas in Pyjamas here upstairs.
Excellent.
Muzi on Mozzie. I just figured that out.
Excellent patience now, but there's nobody near the Visa stairs where Muzi is sitting, and he's going to need to move at some point. Kamikaze will come on over towards the Visa stairs, and Muzi's position will be given away, but no, he finds PZD. He's got 2 kills for his trouble. And now, once again, an advantage that was in favor of Black Dragons has all but slipped through their fingers. And you can hear the clock start to go. Julio inside of sight, just watching patiently, very patiently, as marks go down, and there will be some vulnerability from Hugsword, and it's going to be a 3rd kill for Muzi, who from above is just finding them all, and Julio shuts down GDN, so the mid-round for Black Dragons goes disastrously in comparison to their entry, and Ninjas in Pyjamas outclass them every step of the way for their 5th round in a row, and the very final defense now for NIP, with them perfect so far in this match.
Well, it can't be tellers. It can't be the middle floor. Where will it be? It looks like top. Alrighty then. So, final round, top floor for Ninjas in Pyjamas. So far, Black Dragons have shown some promise. They've given us a lot of really cool executions onto some locations, getting some picks here and there that are, impressive. But they have not shown us one true, fully continuous good execution. Not one. Yeah, good parts of executions, though. Some really great moments from BD. It's just been an overall, in a full round, it has been a struggle for Black Dragons. And a big part of that is, yes, there's just little steps being skipped. Like, okay, yes, the Mozzie and the Mute makes it really hard to drone connector, but if you have not drone connector, then you need to assume there is a player there. That is just basic information gathering in Rainbow Six Siege. If you don't know, you assume there is going to be a problem. So, the fact that Black Dragons just assumed otherwise, they thought that there wasn't someone in connector, cost them that round. Period. Muzi had a really good round individually. Because he was left to his own devices, and he managed to fight his way out of that spot. So good job to him. Props. But yeah, now we're looking down the barrel of a flawless half for Ninjas in Pyjamas. And boy, wouldn't that be a surprise. Oh, wait. No, it wouldn't. The way that today has been playing out, it just seems like the norm.
I think you nailed it on the head when you said last round, Mute and Mozzie on the board means that you're just going to have such a miserable time being able to maneuver around that. And Consulate's always been a very friendly map for Mute play. You know, think back to Season 6 when it was Penta who would establish a presence on the second floor with a bunch of Mute jammers and just hold that down.
So long ago.
And now you think about it, it's still the same. Because Consulate is such a long but narrow map, there's a ton of little doorways that a Mute jammer or a pest can stop your drone from getting through. And without a Thatcher on the board, you are very limited as to what you can do to take care of those.
Well, it's one of those tools that persist due to being, they're still useful. And when I say tools, by the way, a tool is effectively a part of a strategy. A tool is like, okay, we want to open server wall, well, then we need to use these 3 things to do that. A tool is like, we want to take admin office, well, we need to do it this way. That's a tool. You know, Mute jammers to assist a roam is in effect a tool. You know, like, it's just a way of doing things. It's a part of a strategy, like I said. Pino going to be trying to hold on to the admin office here. This is a very old way to play this from the northeast corner. The reason it's old is because there are a lot of ways to deal with a player in this position. It's a well-known location, and there are ways to counter it, like I said. But 2 frag grenades used by Live, neither of them effective. Not a single point of damage dealt. So the fact that he has used those up, that would be your typical way of getting the Jaeger out of this position. In the meantime, instead, you're going to have to use cap-tail bolts and flashes, which is not very efficient.
Live's just going to go for broke, but you can hear the tracers, and oh no, Live's in a lot of trouble, as it's going to be Pino hitting the deck. But he had PZD watching as his overseer, and he'll find Psycho as well, so 2 members of NIP falling very quickly. There's still a minute to go. Ninjas in Pyjamas will have to ride this one out to try and put together the perfect half. We've seen 2 of them so far today. There's INTZ and FaZe, who both have them to their name. Will we see a third? Well, as we said, the man who you always want to watch is Kamikaze. He was integral at being able to stitch together the remainder of Ninjas in Pyjamas' defense. Great timing for him to throw out a smoke if there were more, but no, there's only 1 available. I was now going to wait for a possible Maestro to pop on up as Kamikaze sees 1 outside, but no, he misses on Panico. And that might be it for Nit's chances. C4 from Julio goes off, but he's under fire from too many different angles for him to contest with. Down goes Julio, and now it's all on Muzi. He's going to need to capitalize. Oh, and he finds 2! But he's going to run out of time as the diffuser goes down. Amidst the smoke, he'll have to look for another at long desk. He'll go fishing, and there's a drone on him. He's going to have to keep moving, and he's going to watch the windows, too, if he needs to. Surveying the angles. He frets that there may be somebody on spiral stairs, but he doesn't have more than 1 sight to go with. Might be also starved for information. Here's the Capitao wreaking havoc just to his left. He'll continue on over a 3rd kill on the Hugzord. There's a drone behind him, though. 2 drones on him, and his luck will run out. A valiant effort, but 3 impactless kills will be all he gets for his trouble. And Black Dragons with their very first round victory.
I gotta say it, if Muzi had information on just 1 player there, he would have won it. Just 1 player. If he had known exactly where the spiral player were, if he had known exactly where the player in sight were, Muzi would have won that. That was a very impressive round from him, but luckily for Black Dragons and their fans, a more impressive round from BD. Good execution there. They used their Capitao especially well. We've been seeing a lot of teams fail to use their Capitao well on execution into the top floor. Losing him early was kind of the story on the first map of Consulate when we saw it played earlier today. So props to BD managing to salvage 1 round out of that first half. But obviously, the more important thing is the fact that Ninjas in Pyjamas gave away 2 kills early on. It was Pino and, I believe, Psycho in admin office. You do not need to contest admin office that aggressively in this day and age. It is often not done because it is so... You're so vulnerable. And that, I guess, is maybe a little bit of overconfidence kind of bleeding through there for NIP. And they got punished.
I think the bigger issue was Psycho walking in to try and defend Pino. I think that was the bigger focus, right?
You could say it was the double down.
I think it was the double down. At that point, when you had Pino playing in the corner, you knew he was a dead man. All you need to do is establish 1 person on each of the windows, and there's no way somebody in that corner is getting out alive. And Pino got the fight taken to him by Live, and even though Live seemed to be concussed by the Zofia PZD that was on the window, there really wasn't much more outside of that than just simply a good crossfire being held. So, if you're Psycho, maybe play a little bit farther back. You're a Legion, throw down your goo mines and wait for them to come to you. But Psycho got very aggressive, and he's a player that can usually win those fights. In that instance, he didn't. It's a gamble you take when you know you have that much skill. And also, if you think that maybe Live doesn't have his sights or his wits about him, but PZD was on the window, and that's ultimately who caught Psycho in that encounter. And PZD, of course, a former member of Ninjas in Pyjamas, so something for him to go off of. He is going to be aware, better than anybody else in this matchup, of how Nip is going to play.
Muzi looking for the angle there at the bottom of Visa Stairs. There actually was an opponent that was exposed to him for but a moment, and that, well, is a past moment. So, PCD just waiting. He knows where his opponent is. He could go for a pre-fire. That actually really could benefit him, but he is he is trying to avoid exposing himself unnecessarily. So, probably the right call here from PCD. Just tell your teammates where your opponent is and move on. This is just a flank watch, so we don't need to watch it. Good job to Muzi doing his duty as the Ashe and, you know, trying to open up the bathroom to try and force any potential roamers down to the site. It's going to be one. In fact, I believe it's Hugzord playing that position. Really don't need to watch that. It's a flank watch. I want to know what's going on over by this site. I do really. It seems like, I'm not sure, but it seems like Ninjas in Pyjamas have taken control of Piano. I'm not entirely certain about that, though.
This might end up being their undoing in terms of the clock right now, as you've had an awful lot of quote-unquote nothing happen for 2 minutes, with Live being the only person that isn't at full HP. But look at this. The bathroom still hasn't been closed out just yet. You're going to have GDN expend one of those toxic canisters before he scoots off. Nip is aware of this, and they're going to continue to march on as they've opened up the bathroom, utilized the X-Kairos to do so. But the Black Dragons are still fighting fit. They're still at full body count. And it's very easy to hold off this site when you know everybody's going to come crashing down around you. With the little HP that he has left, or at least half his HP, Live is going to move up, take the fight to Muzi. He'll win it and continue on, just so nobody from Nip can possibly come and refrag. And Live will instead head back to the main lobby, maybe willing to catch somebody from Nip who's going to be positioned on that first floor. Live moving now over to Piano. He's in the bathroom. Panico takes out Psycho and Black Dragons. All right, they got something working. They'll add to it with Panico. Julio burns Panico alive and then goes for the kill as well. GDN popping out as PZD takes out Julio, and it's GDN to finish him off, with Ninjas in Pyjamas just simply being their own undoing. The clock working against them, and then the capacity to push the site with what little was left. It eluded them, and Black Dragons will pick up their very first win on defense and their second in a row.
It was a solid defense there for Black Dragons. Ninjas in Pyjamas got a lot of control there, but they failed to push the roamer out of bathroom. Because they failed to do that, they ended up just kind of, I don't know, wondering what are we supposed to do about this problem? What I'm really curious about is what happened with those Hibana X-Kairos. Because if the Hibana X-Kairos had gone off, which it seems like they hadn't, though we didn't see in the end, if they had gone off, the ability for the roamer inside a bathroom to persist would have been very low, or it would have been very limited, I guess is a better way to put it. And it seems like, again, they hadn't gone off, probably stopped by somebody from Yellow Stairs, though, again, cannot be sure of that. Because of that, that player inside a bathroom was allowed to continue to play there, and since he was allowed to continue to play, well, Ninjas in Pyjamas had serious trouble starting their attack. They eventually did get control of Piano, but very late in the round. And Black Dragons had so much going for them at that point. It was really hard for Ninjas in Pyjamas to kind of stop them, I guess. A very aggressive play as well by Live up on Visa's stairs. And the fact that he was not punished for that by Muzi, truly unfortunate for Ninjas in Pyjamas. Well played to BD. Notice the change in operators for Nip. That is a scream for me, the way that they switch onto the Jackal and the Lion. Yeah. They do not want to deal with variability on the side of Black Dragons. They're just like, none of that. No more.
Could make a swift one, too, as there's no mute for Black Dragons, so there's no real deterrent for Lion's ability, and the only thing that's really going to stop you as you march forward will be those goo mines from PZD, providing that he can get all of them down. I don't know how many bodies are being spotted by Muzi here on his drone, but he saw at least the legs of what appeared to be 2. Just a punch hole in the window, but the glass hasn't been shattered just yet. Pino holding this very tight angle.
You know, the thing is, if he starts spraying on that, the odds of him actually getting the kill are very low. The recoil is going to take his bullets away from him, no matter how well he controls the recoil. It's too tight of an angle. He could get some damage into someone playing at the top of yellow if he holds this, but it's you know, it's not going to be a kill in all likelihood. Speaking of, Hugzord's going to eat some damage there, but he is a dog. GDN also taking some fireball damage, but he'll rotate into bathroom and stay alive. He can be healed up as well from Hugzord later on. And he's going to be able to hold yellow stairs thanks to these gas canisters. EE1D comes out, but Lives is going to take down Psycho, so the jackal of all operators is gone. Things are looking good right now for Black Dragons, and Live is going to continue to punish Ninjas in Pyjamas. This player, technically newer to the roster, has been doing really well for Black Dragons so far.
He's been doing his job effectively, as has both Pino and Muzi. They've been keeping lockstep with Kamikaze and Psycho, and those two very annoying operators that a lot of people don't like dealing with, in Jackal and Lion. Well, they didn't really work out as effectively as I think that NIP were anticipating. The biggest struggle right now has just been simply to get into admin, and it's going to continue to get worse for them as down goes the Ash. Live is holding this angle here. Pino falls, and, well, where's the Capitao? PZD and Live are positioned to catch Julio at a moment's notice, and that's it. He's not going anywhere. A flawless round from Black Dragons, as Consulate just looks extraordinarily defender-sided for the time being. These two teams keeping pace with one another, and Black Dragons have 3 in a row and have broken the momentum of Ninjas in Pyjamas.
Now, I believe that Live joined the roster the 7th of this month.
Wow. So
that's he's really fresh here. Could be mistaken about that, but that's my research has turned up. So, you know, having him come in so recently and be so impactful is truly impressive. You gotta hand it to him. He, over the last 2 rounds especially, he has really shined on this roster. Now, that's 3 in a row for Black Dragons, following the 5 in a row from Ninjas in Pyjamas, and NIP have been unable to really get their feet back on the ground, especially since they have transition. It seems like defense is the favored side here right now on Consulate, despite its history being a fairly well-balanced map. Just so happens this is the case with how these teams match up against each other, and that is not terribly abnormal. And we've seen a lot of times where just the way the teams match each other and the way the operator bans turn out just offers a particular one-sided affair when it comes to the actual defense or attack dynamic. Now, Black Dragons going to be going to the middle floor here. This, I think, is an opportunity for Ninjas in Pyjamas. Middle floor is not necessarily a bad site, but it is one that you can play in this very specific way. And as long as Ninjas in Pyjamas just come out with, I think, a pretty basic strategy, maybe like an admin take, get control of Meeting Hall, where you see GDN right now, and then once you have that vertical pressure, go for the plant, that could really work out. It could be what gets them the round. And there's no Echo, there's no Valkyrie. They're both banned, which means it's all on the Maestro. There's an Ashe in play, so that can be dealt with. If she dies, there's nades from the sledge. Options are abound here for NIP. But will they seize those options? Because it seems like right now, they're not going to. They're going to go for a slightly different strategy in that they will be cutting off rotation of the roamers from CEO Repel, and then probably going for a yellow take into Piano, which is risky.
NIP has always been a team that's been characterized by its aggressiveness. You know, on defense, they live and die by the roam in often circumstances, and then here, it's going to be their entry and how successful it can be. And while you got Pino at the hands of Hibana, and down goes Live, mentioned how important he's been to this roster on Black Dragons, creating space, and now down goes PZD as well, when Muzi looks like he'll have a very easy kill onto GDN, who just walks right into it. And look at that. Perfect time to use an EOD, as Hugzord will get droned out now inside a Piano. He's in dangerous territory, shark-infested waters, you could say, as he moves on out, with Panico not too far off, just by benches. These are the last remaining bastions of hope for Black Dragons here, and Pino has every opportunity as Panico moves, and then Hugzord tries to evade a push from the Lion, and he gets caught. So we were talking about a possible lack of momentum, and we were theorizing that NIP might have been losing the plot of this one.
Nope.
And boy, did they find it.
Yeah, that was a good execution there. Again, I said that execution, that way that they just set up their strategy was risky, but it sure did catch Black Dragons off guard. I mean, they weren't even holding for a CEO push. They didn't even need that in the end. By they, I mean Nip in this case. But Black Dragons were not holding their CEO. That allowed for an easy foothold in the way of Ninjas in Pyjamas. After they got the pick onto Live from that bathroom rappel, it was a pretty easy take there on the top floor. Once they had top floor, well, you just shift your focus a little bit, and then you're in sight. And well done to Nip. Seriously, great execution. Now, we're going to be going to the bottom floor. So, last time we were here, it was a success on the side of BD, and they're going to bring a clash of all things. Quite interesting.
I mean, I think they're worried about a possible quick push with the Lion again and what slows it down effectively, but a clash is going to do that.
There is no Lion this time. Nope. Just a little bit of a change, and I think it was a 6-pick off of. I'm not entirely sure. Didn't catch it, but just a tiny change here for Ninjas in Pyjamas.
I mean, you tried it. You trotted it out. It worked, right? You want to be really aggressive. You want to bring out a Jackal. You want to bring out a Lion. We saw the first iteration of it, 2 rounds ago. Didn't work out well. I think Ninjas in Pyjamas were much better with it than last time. Obviously, it was a flawless round. Hard to be better than that. But this time, you know that if it's going to be a different defense from Black Dragons, which you can anticipate based upon what happened in the round previously, that, well, you got to do something completely different. And obviously, with Thermite being unbanned, no Hard Breachers actually being banned whatsoever in this matchup, you've got quite a number of tools to be able to open up that garage wall. You don't have a Thatcher, sure, which means taking out any denial, which in this case will be both the Mute Jammers as well as the Bandit Shock Wires. You're going to need to take control of Piano pretty quickly. That's what the Buck, and I'm assuming maybe the Jackal will be for if the Jackal doesn't sit on yellow stairs. Which will leave Kamikaze and Pino as the 2 Hard Breachers to take out the rest of the garage. Additionally, you could just waste the utility of one of those operators, put a round of X-Kairos down on the wall and the Exothermic Charge on the other, if there's going to be active bandit tricking from Panico, unless he already has the wires down beforehand.
I want to know if Live didn't get spotted out there. It seems like he wasn't spotted, but it could be that he was on the second pass. Yeah, okay, well, he's definitely spotted now. Flash goes out there from Uzi. He's trying to cut off the rotation. This is good game sense from Uzi. He knows he doesn't need to get the kill initially peeking on the stairs, but he can cut off the rotation. But he'll eventually get it onto Live. Smart play there from Uzi, seriously. He and Live have been struggling a lot on those Visa stairs, and finally there is a clear victor early on into the round, though last time Live was able to take it later in the retake. So this is something that bodes very well for Ninjas in Pyjamas. That is the rotation that would likely later come out from the Visa stairs, just no longer going to be there.
This push from Muzi now over on towards Visa stairs. So he can just sit quite well and wait for the time being.
Oh, okay.
Easy D's looking the wrong way there, and Psycho just with a 1-tap. That right there might have just broken the back of Black Dragons, as now you've got no coverage over on Visa stairs, you've got no coverage on Spiral, you've got no coverage over towards servers, and wow,
okay,
they're just frozen in place. You don't need a Lion if they're not going to move and come to you. You don't really want to have the shield out. In this one instance, you're going to have to fire back, and it's another flawless round from Ninjas in Pyjamas to put this one in the books. 7-3 for Nip to be able to take it over Black Dragons, and, well, not a draw, not as close as it could have been, even though Nip did seem to lose their footing and stumble just a tiny bit. But they end up with the 7-3 victory, which is as good as you could have hoped for, and a dominant performance for Ninjas in Pyjamas to pick up yet another victory.
This is why I don't really like to make those predictions. Why, it could be a draw, sure, but
intend your predictions, coward.